So I was at Walmart about a week and a half ago, and I was looking at finally our Walmart actually started carrying firearms again, and one of the rifles that was in the rack was a Remington 700 ADL. Well, I have an ADL from years ago, so I was happy to see that they're actually still making them. So this was their budget rifle from years ago. I think it was the 783, I think now is the one that they have for a budget rifle. And you have things like the Ruger American, a whole bunch of other people. Savage makes a very nice budget rifle. But this budget rifle was actually based on their much more expensive rifle, the Remington 700. And this is a 700 ADL. And it was an A model deluxe, I think. And they had the BDL, which had walnut. But the ADL had a plastic stock and was a little bit less finely finished. But this here rifle I ended up actually buying many years ago, not long after I got married, because my wife wanted to go hunting with me a little bit. And at that time, you could actually get iron sights for it. And it was like $200. I ended up actually trading off a SKS, a Russian one at the time, which wasn't worth a lot of money. You could buy them for $99 at the time for this rifle. But it has had very good service. My wife used it for a couple of years and then got disinterested in hunting again, so I've had it around sort of as a backup rifle, mainly for like bad weather and stuff, so that it's with the synthetic stock, I don't have to worry about it. But so let's take it out to the range, and then we'll talk about it whenever we get done showing the clip from the range. All right, I'll be right back. I brought out a couple firearms today, and also brought out the Remington 700 ADL. I talked about this a little bit earlier in the video. It basically is the same thing as the Remington 700, except it does not have a floor plate on it. So we'll talk about that a little bit more at home. I bought this many years ago, and it has been a very reliable rifle. Never had any problems with it. It's weatherproof, of course, because it's got synthetic stock. Holds 4 rounds of 308, and I'm just using regular hunting loads, factory loads from Federal. I've used this, actually I think I've only ever got one deer with this rifle, but did take a deer with it. I ended up getting other rifles over the years, so just kind of this guy kind of got neglected. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Let me take a range picking up some, so you can see that on the video. Jumping around a little bit here, so I'm not really holding on to it very. Very positive ejection. Like I said, never had any problems with this rifle. Trigger pull probably, this is empty. It's probably about 4.5, 5 pounds, so not bad, no creep, not really hardly any over travel. So it was a bargain rifle at the time, and it's been a very solid, consistent performer. All right, I'm gonna have a look at my targets, and we'll talk about it back at home. And I've got about 2 inches here, so I'm gonna shoot it a little bit more and see if I can do a little better. All right, see you at home. So that was our trip to the range. Now, unfortunately, it's been a little while ago. I've just gotten to the point where I've actually come back to do the video on this, and I've lost my targets. Now, the accuracy for the rifle, though, for 3 shots was about 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches. So not a hugely spectacularly accurate targets. However, it is very much minute of deer and very serviceable. So just going over a couple of the features of the ADL as opposed to some of the other budget rifles. The ADL is finished a little bit less finely, whereas you might have a polished bolt on the 700, the regular 700 BDL or some of the other models. This has more of almost like a phosphate, sort of like a parkerized finish on that. So it's a little rougher, and compared to like my laminate stock target rifle from a varmint rifle, it is a little bit more, not as smooth and stuff of working in action, but it is still a smooth action. Now the biggest difference though from an ADL to the other Remington 700 models is that it does not have a floor plate on it. So it is what's considered a blind magazine, in that you have to cycle the rounds through the action. Now, that isn't as much of a problem as a lot of people put it out to be, because what you can do is, now this is in 308, it was a nice caliber for my wife to use. Figured it'd be a middle of the road, and I can even download them for her pretty easily. So you put in, it holds 4 cartridges. What I do to unload it, instead of actually going all the way and locking the bolt and, having the possibility if something happened, failed in safety, that it might go off, I run it until the cartridge pops out of the chamber, or the magazine, I'm sorry, and doesn't go all the way into the chamber. Take your bolt back, pull it up like this, cartridge falls back, and then you just roll it out. So to me, it's actually a pretty safe method of unloading the rifle. Now, the blind magazine might bother some people, but all of my military Mausers, not the sporting ones, of course, because most of them have a way of actually taking them out of the bottom, but the military Mausers basically have the same thing, and there's been millions and millions and millions of those things made. So, and they're highly revered, so, just take it for what it's worth. So anyways, my like of this rifle over some of the other budget rifles is that it has the 700 action. So nowadays you can buy all kinds of different barrels and stuff. Say you run this rifle enough so you wear out the barrel, which you can do, but you have to run, probably thousands of rounds through it. You can buy all kinds of things. You can buy other barrels, you can buy bull barrels, you can buy different calibers as long as it fits into the action, and you're good to go. So gunsmiths know how to work on them. They're a screwed in barrel, so you don't have to press fit it in like some of the new modern budget rifles are. And the other thing too is, a couple other things, is that you can find 700 rings anywhere. Now these are they're ones that you can see through. Now, I grew up actually using iron sights. I'll tell you how old I am. And it's actually very nice. I actually lost a deer once, a nice buck. It was up close, and I did not have the see-through rings on it, and I was unable to catch the buck even on 3 power up close. So I ended up, banging my stuff around here, getting see-through rings, which are very unpopular right now, and using the open sights with it. So, and I find actually that it's very comfortable for my head position on the rifle. This cheek weld, which drives me nuts too, actually is very solid for me to shoot the rifle for the scope up that high. And I think that the whole thing about the cheek weld is a bit overblown today. And if you actually look at some of the, what was it, Tub, I believe it was, some of the Target guys, they'll actually have a thing to sit their chin on here and shoot through the scope that's even mounted higher than that. So I think the whole thing about mounting it really low is probably a bogus spot anyways, and I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of comments on that because I'm in the minority at this point. So anyways, here's a Remington 700 ADL budget rifle that is based on a much more expensive rifle action that you can use for all kinds of things after you're done shooting it in 308, if you want 243, 7mm .8, whatever you want to use it for. So that's another choice for a budget rifle, and one that I actually prefer. All right, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my videos if you like them, and out.